In 2019, there were over 10,000 people killed due to drunk driving. 29 people a day, one person every 50 minutes. That's 10,000 people who did not get a chance to go home to their families in 2019, and every single one of those deaths could have been prevented. Every 2 minutes, someone is injured during a drunk driving crash, and every 51 minutes, someone is killed, stated by the Mothers Against Drunk Driving organization. There are ways to prevent drunk driving. Having a designated driver is the biggest one. Mothers Against Drunk Driving has celebrated the most visible project that has been succeeding for over 30 years. In 2015, Mothers Against Drunk Driving has saved 330,000 lives and counting to continue on to 2022, stated by Mothers Against Drunk Driving organization. This organization saves people. It brings awareness to the victims who have suffered from drunk or drug driving accidents. Mothers Against Drunk Driving started due to the death of Carrie Leitner, which is Candace Leitner's daughter. After the tragic death of Candace Leitner and Cindy Lamb's children due to impaired driving, they came together and created Mothers Against Drunk Driving on September 5, 1980. Mothers Against Drunk Driving campaign influenced 1,000 new laws that deal with impaired driving. They have influenced sobriety checkpoints and also server liability. Mothers Against Drunk Driving has been very influential on legislation and public policy, stated by the editorial staff of 2020. 4,300 people are killed each year due to teen alcohol use. Car accidents are the number one leading cause in teenage deaths, and 1 in 4 car crashes with teenagers involve underage drinking, stated by Mothers Against Drunk Driving organization. There are so many ways that we can prevent drunk driving and turn the statistic to zero, which is the goal. Thanks to non-drinking designated drivers, taxis, public transportation, and ride-sharing apps such as Uber, there's no excuse to drink and drive. Also, buckle up every time. Wearing a seatbelt is the best defense against a drunk driver. And plan ahead if you know your night includes drinking. That's the best thing you can do, is always have a plan or even a backup plan if things change. These are all stated by Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Mothers Against Drunk Driving influences public perception of impaired driving and is making it more real than it is and personal. Drunk driving is still the number one cause of death on our roadways, stated by Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and showing that these victims are real people who did not get a chance to go home to their families. This crime is not victimless, stated by the editorial staff of 2020. The NCADD warns that as many as 2 of 3 people will be in some kind of drunk driving crash in their lifetime. The Mothers Against Drunk Driving movement has a goal of making that statistic zero and will not stop fighting for it and supporting victims and their families. They support families and victims by having phone support, donation pages on their website, and ways to get involved in Mothers Against Drunk Driving and be an activist for the organization. You don't have to be a mother to be a part of this and support it and be an activist. You could be anyone. You could be someone who has been impacted because of drunk driving or impaired driving, or you could just be someone who wants to make a change and act on this serious problem that we have. Mothers Against Drunk Driving does not focus on the irresponsible people known as the drunk or drug drivers. They do not want their organization to shed light on people who make poor decisions by getting behind the wheel impaired. These are the people who are creating deaths and injuries that change victims and their families' lives by their poor decisions. The ones who are heavy drinkers who decide to get behind the wheel are not the ones noticing that their actions are wrong. They may know it's wrong, but they're still doing it and they're not caring about the consequences or what could happen to themselves or other people by driving impaired. This is why Mothers Against Drunk Driving tries their hardest to be an influence on laws and why they take their victims' lives very seriously and personally. Drunk driving is wrong, and we all know that, but realizing the impact of this organization has and can change lives. Everyone should think hard before they get behind the wheel after drinking because it can change your own life and others. Research more about Mothers Against Drunk Driving and how you can be a part of the organization to make an impact and save lives. Thank you.